What's going on, YouTube? Ferocity here. Hope you guys are doing well. The current state of both Black Ops 6 and Warzone has resulted in the most divided I have ever seen the Call of Duty community. And I've been around for a while. I've been here ever since COD 4. I've never seen the community quite like this. People bending themselves into a pretzel to praise this game at every turn, and others who are scratching and clawing at any conspiracy theory they can find to breed more hate into the franchise. And I'll be honest, I've been one of those people that has scratched and clawed at conspiracy theories to talk about. But I'd rather see unity within this community. And I know, this community is known for being toxic and problematic in the past. Like, we've never really been united. But we've never really been like this either. Where it just feels like people are pushing further and further away from one another. And part of that is the lack of social efforts in this game. Like, the chat bans are completely out of control. Nobody wants to talk. Those that do just yell slurs for no reason. And it's a crazy time to be a Call of Duty fan. But nonetheless, with everything that's going on, all of this division within the community regarding some of the game's core issues plays perfectly into Call of Duty's hands, into Activision's hands. They don't want a united community. They don't want a community that's going to work together to institute change. They love the fact that for every person that scratches and claws towards skill-based damage, there's somebody out there calling them conspiracy theorists. They love that because it keeps this community divided. Instead, what we should be doing is we should be saying, hey, the anti-cheat in this game is awful. And people on the other side that love this game can say, I love the game, but the anti-cheat is awful. And that becomes a much more powerful sentiment. Because now you have fans that are working together to maybe push change on the anti-cheat. But what I hear and read more often than not is, well, I haven't experienced any cheaters. Maybe you're a cheater yourself. And therein lies the issue. This community that praises the game, that defends the game at all costs, cannot recognize the core issues that face this game on a daily basis. And that is why we're in this predicament, why the game is where it currently is. And it plays right into Activision's hands. Because every single time we try to unify the community, say, hey, let's boycott the game. Those that love the game are not going to boycott it because they see no benefit. Because they found a way to brainwash themselves into believing Call of Duty can do no wrong. Even during the height of Call of Duty, you could ask anybody who loved this game. They'd be able to point out probably 10 flaws that the game had. Like, I could look at COD 4, which is held up as one of the best Call of Duty games of all time. Frag Times 3 was god-awful. Martyrdom was crazy. The M16 was overpowered. The M4 was extremely strong. The AK could kill in 2 bullets. There was a lot of issues with that game, but it was still extremely fun. MW2, do I even need to mention NoobTube One-Man Army? Not really. Black Ops 1, Second Chance Pro, and Ghost Pro, completely broken. Juggernaut back in World at War and the MP40 being broken. There were issues in the golden era of Call of Duty. That's what I'm pointing out. There was problems there. But everybody in the community knew about it. Nobody was clutching their pearls saying, no, the game is perfect. Leave it the way it is. No. The community was unified saying we need change. And guess what? We got change. That's how we got Black Ops 2. That's how we got the advanced movement era of Call of Duty, was because the community was getting a little tired of the basic boots on the ground gameplay. They saw what Titanfall was coming out with, and they wanted something similar in Call of Duty form. That's what happens when a community comes together. They can actually institute change. So if this community could just get over itself and stop the infighting over the stupid skins in the game. Like, if I have to read one more post about somebody who is shamelessly buying the new skins, like, I don't care. I don't care if they're milsim or not. They provide no benefit to me, and they only provide a benefit to Activision. That's all it does. It just provides them a benefit. But I'm tired of this debate constantly happening within this community. Let's focus on the real problems. The problems aren't the fact they're monetizing the game. Yes, greed plays a role in all of this. But if we could just for once recognize the game is deeply flawed and push for change against those flaws, we might make some positive progression. There might be some improvements to the anti-cheat. There might be some improvements to the servers. But no, instead what we want to do is we want to argue about a unicorn fart. We want to argue about the newest blueprint that's in the game because that's what they'd rather have the conversation be about. Call of Duty benefits every single time we shift the focus away from the core flaws of the game, of this brittle and broken foundation that the game is built upon. It holds them less accountable. And it might sound like I'm yelling this from the top of my soapbox, and maybe I am. But honestly, I have no reason to go back to this franchise, and I really wish they could do something to bring me back. Because I want to play Call of Duty. I want to experience the fun that so many people on the other side say that Black Ops 6 is. I want to see a Call of Duty game released in the 20s actually realize its full potential. MW3 sort of kind of did, but it was held back by a lot of what MW2 did. MW2 was a dumpster fire. Vanguard was a dumpster fire. Black Ops Cold War, again, sort of did, but it was kind of held back by a turbulent and terrible development cycle. And then of course we have MW 2019, which even though it was released in 2019, most of its heyday was during 2020, and you guys know how I feel about that game. I don't understand why people like it, but nonetheless, I still think that all of these games had far more potential, that they could have actually been something great. But instead, the over-monetization and greed and the allowance of this, because this community is more divided than ever, has resulted in the state that we're currently in here on Black Ops 6. A game that has good elements, memorable elements, completely being wasted incompetence and greed, and a level of complacency from those within this community. And that's what really hurts. People are complacent with the current state because they see no alternative. The amount of posts I see online from people just saying, we really have nowhere else to go. What are we to do? I want to play a game like Warzone, but there's only one Warzone. So I play it, get frustrated, but I continue playing it because there's nothing else. It plays perfectly into Activision's hands. All of this leads to Activision being too big to fail, which I want to dive more into on a video later this week, because I think it's an important topic to talk about. But I want to bring us back to the potential unity that this community could have. If we could pull people in from both sides and just say, hey, if we work together here, if we really just rally our voices together, real change could happen. Like, I've seen people shift over the last few weeks especially. We saw Nadeshot talk negatively about Call of Duty. We've seen Scump talk about, we've seen Octane. A lot of people are talking about, massive influencers when it comes to Call of Duty are talking about the current state of the game being bad. And what follows up every single one of those posts? Somebody in there saying, well, you're just not good at the game, or praising the game despite the flaws that are being pointed out. And that's the problem. I'd love to see people recognize those flaws and unify with those who just want to see the game improve. I'm not talking about those who hate the game for the sake of hating the game. I'm talking about those who are bringing up legitimate points, legitimate reasons why Call of Duty is in the terrible state it's currently in. And I want them to come together. Is that probably too much to ask for? 100%. But that's how we can actually fight back against Activision. I can make 100 different videos talking about how terrible the anti-cheat is, how awful the matchmaking is. But it's going to have no effect until people that want to continuously praise this game at all costs realize that it could all be better. I really wish that was the case. I wish more people understood that, hey, if we fought against the cheaters of this game, if we fought to improve the servers, it would lead to a better experience for everybody. Maybe those cosmetic arguments wouldn't get so heated because the game would just be more enjoyable and you could live with it. But because the game is so bad, it gets overshadowed by everything else that people are upset about. And therein lies the problem. So yeah, to conclude this, I think we're in a more divided state than we've ever been in before. And the only way forward is for us to recognize our differences and say the only way that we can improve Call of Duty is by coming together and unifying. But knowing the history of the Call of Duty community, it's not really going to happen. It's happened a couple times in the past, but honestly, I don't see it happening now. But maybe I'll get proven wrong, and I hope I do. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in that comment section. Let me know where you sit on the side of this debate. Are you somebody who loves this game, or are you somebody who despises this game? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in that comment section. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.